It doesn't have to be a white wedding to be romantic. A wedding gown in a dazzling shape can add some color to your big day. Every piece of Qing Dynasty furniture is exquisitely handcrafted. The curator of the private museum will tell you the stories behind them.
Marriage symbolizes a new beginning in a relationship and also marks the next stage of life.
The perfect wedding dress not only captures your most beautiful moment, but it's also a testament of your love.
Wedding dress styles nowadays have become much more diverse, breaking traditions and embracing bold designs. Regardless of your body shape and height, with so many different designs these days, you're bound to be able to find designs that can highlight your best features.
So luxury is all in the details. It's all about the craftsmanship and the cutting, and also the fabric that the designers use. You can definitely tell what is luxurious by the touch and feel of it as well, and how it looks on the body. Luxurious fabrics are very comfortable to wear, and they should enhance your body very nicely.
Hi, Juliet.
Hi, ladies.
So what styles are popular amongst Hong Kong brides these days?
I think in the past few years, we're seeing brides becoming more experimental with their style, and they're favoring more stylish gowns with a more high fashion editorial vibe over the classic styles.
So what are your newest designs this year?
We actually have it all over this rack here. So we have like colorful gowns. We also have boudoir inspired gowns, and also feathers as well.
A lot of feathers I see.
Yes.
All over the rack.
I think more and more brides are accepting of colorful gowns. Colorful gowns are getting more popular nowadays as a fresh and vibrant alternative to the conventional white. Why white gowns are chosen as the default is because of that traditional association of white with purity. But I feel like brides are right now more open-minded about color, that beautiful gowns are not limited to white gowns only. So in fact, we are the first bridal shop to establish the colorful gown trend in Hong Kong just about 2-3 years ago. We did an editorial shoot with Zoe Tam, who wore this really beautiful, really gorgeous blue ruffled tiered gown, and we styled it in such a way with like belts and boots and hats to make it very, we styled it in a very editorial fashion. And that sort of imagery really shook up the market because that sort of style has never been done before, and that left a really deep impression.
So I also hear that there's something called light gowns. What's that about?
Those are very light, airy, dreamy gowns that are quite popular nowadays over like the more heavy gowns.
Like the more traditional ones, right?
Yes.
So what's the difference between evening wear and then bridal gowns? Because I always get those two mixed up.
Honestly, there is no hardline distinction between those two now. I think before you would see that brides are yeah, there would be like just white gowns for the ceremony and then maybe sparkly gowns for evening. But now that line is increasingly blurred. So honestly, you can wear any style you want.
And any color, right?
Any color as well.
Just
for
whatever
ceremony.
you feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The dresses all look so gorgeous. Can we try them on?
Of course you can.
love the corset detail.
And I love the tears and the feathers on you. It's so pretty.
You ladies look so gorgeous.
Thank you. Why did you decide to pick these two dresses for us?
Okay, so let's talk about Juliana first, actually. So Juliana has a really slim waist, so this corset really highlights that.
Yeah,
and it's
really
also like,
flatters her.
yeah, for sure, and it's very boudoir inspired as well. And also, it's these romantic off-the-shoulder sleeves.
Yeah.
Really highlights your collarbone and just like very feminine and very graceful.
Yeah, it's like at the same time it's very sensual, but then it's also very princessy as well.
Yes, just a hint of sexy.
Yeah, yeah.
Best
sure.
of both worlds.
I know. Like sexy but classy.
Definitely. And also for Joyce, so we have these like yellow tiered layers that give a lot of dimension, and also these feather accents.
I
give
love
that-
these feathers.
Yeah, so the feather accents give a lot of movement and drama as well as you walk. And yeah, so it's just like you're floating on air and
Feels
very...
like a dream.
Yes,
Yeah, it's like she's in a field of feathers, and it gives her a lot more dimension with the feathers.
And this pastel yellow, it's so nice.
And because you can carry it so well, because your skin is very fair as well, so you can definitely carry this color very well.
Beautiful.
Yes.
These dresses are so sexy, but elegant and unique at the
Inspired by the runway, by couture, and you can expect to see a lot more daring cuttings, very interesting, very high quality fabrics, and also luxurious embellishments as well. I think you can expect those styles to be more popular in the coming years. And we're at a really exciting place right now with bridal fashion that we are redefining what bridal wear should look like, and to see that there are actually no limits to it. And for yours, you look amazing, so stunning. And mini dresses are all the rage at the moment, and because it really like elongates your legs. Yeah, so you look taller. And also it shows off shoes too, so you can play around with your bridal shoes.
And I love this feather cape.
Yes,
I
this
know,
cape
It's
is
so cute.
yeah, this cape gives a very dramatic vibe, and yeah, just that touch of drama and movement. It's very high fashion, very editorial.
So I can flow.
It's very flowy too,
Yeah.
super lightweight, very easy to walk into.
You look very comfortable.
I know. I feel like I just got out of bed, you know, after a magazine photo shoot.
Just makes an unforgettable impression.
Yes, exactly. So do a lot of girls usually go for the sexy vibe nowadays?
Yes, more and more brides are going for more of a sexy or sultry look and not afraid to show some skin. And because everybody and every bride deserves to feel like an absolute goddess on her big day, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going for.
You gotta show all your beauty while you're still.
Young, right?
Yeah, exactly. Always young, always beautiful, always beautiful.
So usually we'd wear white gowns, right? Is black more common these days, or?
It's getting more common. I see a lot of brides wearing black dresses for pre-wedding shoots, especially because black is forever fashionable and chic and timeless, and also slimming as well. So it looks good on everybody, and it's also very modern and edgy.
So they usually wear it for pre-wedding, right? But not so common when it comes to actual wedding.
I think evening gowns they do wear it as well, but pre-wedding is definitely a big statement. To wear black.
Evening gown sounds good as well.
I know.
Just gotta flaunt it on the big day.
You can go for any occasion.
For sure. We want to inspire brides to incorporate more fashion elements into their wedding journey. In terms of personalizing your bridal style, it comes down to two things. Number one is to choose the right gown. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and try on gowns that have a lot of modern, luxurious elements to it. And then secondly is through the power of styling. So through styling and through putting on the right accessories or garments, you can totally transform the vibe of a gown instantly. So for example, you can wear leather jacket, boots, belts to give like a tougher vibe, or you can wear statement capes to make it more stylish and high fashion. So these are the sort of elements that you can add to your outfit to make it more stylish.
Wedding dresses can also show personality. The perfect dress is the cherry on top. What do you guys think?
The value of antiques cannot be measured by money because each piece of antique furniture preserves memories from a bygone era. Among them, the most charming and attractive are collections that come from the royal family because a lot of these pieces document the deeds and lifestyle of emperors and empresses, turning them into an authentic history book of sorts. Lynn, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the opening of this museum and the philosophy behind it.
We opened Nanyi Museum in 2013, so it's going to be our 10-year anniversary next year. And back then, we opened it because we really wanted to share our collections with the public in a way that we thought would be unusual for Hong Kong.
Tell us about the current collection and some of the pieces that we can expect to see.
So our current exhibition is called Majestic, and as the title suggests, it's all pieces with imperial or royal provenance. So some of the more spectacular pieces include a very large steam-pan cabinet, which was owned by a princess who was the youngest of Emperor Kangxi's daughter, and it formed part of her dowry. Then we have another piece that is a shrine that was commissioned by the Emperor Tianlong. So that's, in terms of craftsmanship, it's incredibly intricate, and the fact that it was so well preserved makes it really, really special.
Tell us about how you go about sourcing some of these pieces, and are there any challenges that are especially memorable that you've encountered?
So most of our Chinese pieces come from around Hollywood Road, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, my father was the collector who started collecting. And in the 1970s and early 80s, he would, go up and down Hollywood Road, making friends with all the dealers. So, he's had relationships with them that are about 40, 50 years long. So I would say they know our collection possibly even better than I do. So they're very aware of what's still missing from our collections. So I would say that's primarily how we source our Chinese furniture.
Wow, this is awesome.
So what we're looking at here is a 4-piece cabinet set that we have reason to believe belonged to one of the youngest daughters of the Emperor Kangxi. And it was part of her dowry. So I think one of the first things I would like to draw your attention to is really just to use your hands rather than your eyes. So if you just run your hands over this and feel the grain of the wood, you might understand why it was such a highly prized piece of wood. It's just that, the ancient Chinese really thought that it was a very silky wood. So actually when visitors come, it's a little bit odd. I do ask them to close their eyes and just touch it.
Oh, wow. Which you don't get
before.
to do at most museums,
Right,
which
exactly.
is nice.
Which I think, is one of the reasons our museum is unique, because we're really kind of encouraging people to use all of their senses. So what is very unique about Chinese furniture is the engineering behind it. So in the Ming Dynasty, it sort of reached its apex. And Chinese furniture basically just slots together like this. So there are no nails, obviously there's no such thing as glue. So it's really all down to the craftsman to make sure that the joinery is always perfect. So even a piece like this, which looks very imposing, is actually in essence a jigsaw puzzle. So when you dismantle an object like this, quite often at the back you'll still see markings from maybe 200 years ago.
Just looking at the external appearance, it's amazing. How is it possible that we're talking 300 years?
What makes Zitan and Huanghali furniture so priceless, I suppose, is because the quality of the wood itself. Zitan, I think, is one of the only types of wood. It's a type of cherry wood, which is so dense that it just sinks if you drop it into water. It doesn't float.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what that means is that it's extremely resistant to things like carvings, which is why you can, afford to have very, very meticulous carving, and it won't, just shatter into dust. And also, if you were to open the cabinet and take a deep breath, you can still smell the original smell of Zitan, which again is an insect repellent. So a lot of the things that would typically degrade wood over time, humidity, doesn't matter because Zitan comes from places like Madagascar. Insects, insect repellent. So really, short of, somebody hacking it to pieces or a fire, they're quite indestructible.
Now, I understand that there's a story behind these 4 chairs. Tell us about it.
So basically, these 4 chairs are a very small selection of what we imagine to be a huge grouping of chairs. So these chairs belong to a man called Prince Gong, who is one of the last princes of the Qing dynasty. When war was about to break out, obviously there were a lot of people, princes included, who were on the run. And had to sell off a lot of their family heirlooms. So these 4 chairs came from the infamous Prince Gong mansion, and they were sold to a Japanese dealer at the time. Yeah, it was quite an impressive holding. The reason that I find these very interesting is throughout the exhibition, we talk a lot about royal and imperial icons and what are the very, I guess you could say, subtle signals that something is made for an emperor. And one of those things is the dragon. I'm sure, as you know, everybody associates the Chinese emperor with a dragon, but in fact, there is a hierarchy of dragons, and only the emperor himself can use a front-facing dragon with five claws as his imperial symbol.
5 claws.
Right.
Okay.
So some, you can look at other dragons elsewhere and they would be facing off to the side, or they would have 4 claws, or 3, or 2. And that's what you can see in the very middle of these chairs, which is what makes them very special indeed.
Well, it's really cool because when I look at each of the chairs, it's because it's the 3D of the dragon.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I guess it's not actually the most comfortable chair, because if you were to sit down on it, which again we encourage our visitors to try, the dragon kind of digs right into your back. I think it's, it's a reminder that the emperor is always watching.
Okay, so I've only seen something like this in a museum.
Right.
What is it?
So in essence, this is a shrine in miniature. It's an exact replica of an existing temple. For many reasons. I mean, I think first of all, just look at it. One of the things that I spoke to you earlier about was about the quality of Zitan wood.
Yes.
And how, because of the hardness of it, it allows you to do so much in terms of carving. And here you can see, I mean, they pulled out all of the stops. So this is actually a replica miniature shrine that the Emperor Tianlong commissioned. And we'll talk a little bit more about when he did that, and we have actual evidence of when he did it. But first, I normally invite people to, very carefully, but have a closer look at it, And you'll see that, everything from the doors to kind of all the dragons to even up here on the eaves is just,
mind-blowing.
Yeah,
like the
it really
scales on the dragon.
Exactly. It's one of these pieces that to me makes it clear why we have to run the museum the way we do, which is, not put these objects behind glass, which, even the best of times is reflective, to really kind of allow people to get as close and as personal as they can. And then, so let me tell you a little bit about the back of this. So you'll see the back of the shrine is an inscription in 4 languages. So you have it in Chinese, you have it in Mongolian, Manchurian, and in Tibetan. And essentially what it says, and this is a summary, is that the Emperor Tianlong, in the 34th year of his reign, personally commissioned the shrine to be built. And what this shrine tells us is 2 things. One was that the Emperor Tianlong was a big believer in Buddhism. He was devout. But I think secondly is that he was also a big believer that Buddhism could be a unifying force for his very vast empire, which was why it was a deliberate choice, a political choice, to have this message inscribed in the 4 languages that would have been used at the time.
Now, I don't know if just our lighting, but I perceive a little bit of a pop coming from the words. Is that just inscribed into the wood, or is there gold
It's
paint?
inscribed in gold.
It's inscribed in gold.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is gold there.
Yeah, exactly.
To build something like this, you say they commission it. Any idea how long it takes and how many artists would be working on this?
So this would have been made in one of the imperial workshops. And actually, currently at the Hong Kong Palace Museum, they have a gallery where, as one of the designs, they have a lot of records of, the correspondence that goes between emperors, especially the Emperor Tianlong, and to the workmen. He was very meticulous about what he wanted and very discerning, demanding. And so I think it would have depended, obviously people were not rushing, but he was known to go down to the workshops himself to have a look to see how things were going. So I think it would have been a very, very elaborate project.
So you say that they have documents of the emperor giving instructions. So all these instructions are written instructions. They wouldn't be called into the room and kind of give them oral instructions.
It's possible that it was both. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for getting something wrong. So it's like, let's have the written correspondence,
Just
like a
getting it
receipt,
wrong, you might get your
basically.
head chopped off back
So
in the
let's
day.
keep the receipts.
Chinese antique furniture not only reflects Chinese cultural heritage, but is also a unique craft. If you learn the stories behind the furniture in addition to admiring its design, you'll find that there's a certain charm about it, even if talking about a single table or chair.